All right, peace. True father born you Allah. We're over here in Morocco, aka Seattle. I was first born in Virginia, 1988-89, and my enlightener is a brother by the name of Peace, Justice, Allah out of Medina, and a couple years after, well, pardon me, we got Powerful out of Medina, who was brothers with Akbar. He was down with us, and God by the name of Infinite, born by Sheen, was the elders in the cipher at that point. I feel
in the cipher of
Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, they the ones who was really started that in Norfolk.
Okay.
Right there where the first family days, when you talk about the very first family day that was in, that I knew about, was the one we did in 91. Was the first formal, like, family day of Victory of Law.
Okay.
What at that point we was calling it Understanding Born.
Understanding Born.
Right, we called it Understanding Born because the God had said, we was building, and the God said that's where the understanding of Allah, that's where the understanding of Allah was born, being the birthplace of the Father. You see, doing because that's where Allah was born. So therefore that was the understanding born. You see, and so it was known as both of those to some of the first gods that was around. And Victory of Law. Primarily, we just said Victory of Law. Some things came down. I had to bounce. In 91, I came back out here to Seattle.
Where you originally from?
I'm originally from here.
You originally from here?
I'm originally from Seattle. I was in the military, and then I lived in Virginia.
Okay, so
you got
stationed out there.
I got stationed out there, and then from me being stationed out there, I had just came back from overseas, Africa, Italy, all around Europe, Israel, Jerusalem, all of those places, and came back. I was a kid. I was only knowledge built, knowledge born, you know what I mean? But when I got back, the funny thing is I ran into a brother who I grew up with here, there, in Virginia, and he was God. And he was like,
he got knowledge.
He got knowledge. And
he's a different person.
He was a totally different person. I mean, I walked up on the God. I walked up on him. I seen him. I said, yo, you know what I mean? And he had his crown on. He had everything. It was just a different time. And the God was like, I was telling him where I've been and all this stuff. And we played football here. I never thought I'd run into a brother over there, let alone having knowledge. So I was talking to him a little bit about that, and then the brother said, well, and that's when he dropped the jewel. He was like, brother, you're no longer, you're not a follower, you're more of a leader. And then from that point on, I was like, man, okay, whatever, I'm out, right? But from that point on, I kept running into God after God after God. I couldn't get away. And that's when I started building with the God, Peace, Justice. I didn't even know he was God. I just seen him talking with this brother one day, and I was interested in the conversation, and then from then on, I just knew him as PJ, right? So I was just like, all right. And then after that first night, all night talking about various subjects and things of that nature, he revealed to me who he was, and then we just was talking. You know what I mean? Just basic talking, and that's when I was like, yo, where the hell you get these ideas that you come from? I never heard this shit before. You know what I mean? Never. But that's when he was like, yo, and he handed me, he said, this is my very first book. And it was A Message to the Black Man. And I had never truthfully read a complete book before that point, you know? And so when I read, the first page and whatever, the first page, I had to close the book. You know what I mean? Because everything was blowing my head up. You know what I mean? And so anyway, after many stories, that's when I decided, I said, yo, I need to continue to study. and he had born the history of the nation, and I went through all of that prerequisites to me to know what I'm getting into, because he wouldn't. It was a different time back then. It was a little bit more hands-on. You know what I'm saying? It was a little bit more hands-on, so he wanted to make sure I knew what I'm talking about, knowing what I'm choosing before I choose.
Right.
So anyway, went to building on, and so I formally began my studies in that time. That was 89, December. It was like New Year's, like around that time.
New Year's going into 89.
Going into 89.
Okay.
Around that, going into about that time. And that's when I began. And then in 91, I came back out here. 91, I came back out here to live.
If Mecca did this.